Not here to fucking save people like everybody else. I'm not here to do that shit. I'm just here to do service. So people understand this duality and keep doing the same shit they're doing. That's the echo. Fix it real quick. There you go. That should be better. Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, that's just damn right. Okay.
TikTok
Thank
follows.
you.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, it's the terms and services of TikTok, so what's for reaction? Like, all I did was ask you a yes or no question, and you're getting emotional. It's
No, I didn't want to hear him pee, which pissed me off. It made me say the next word.
in a truck.
Yeah, I'm in a dump truck. I just turned it off.
Slime.
Listen, every single race took something from Black American culture.
Truth of the matter is that American.
And then one time, when that we was on the line and the lady said, "We're going in, Molly, thing up.
If you've been sued for it, winning has a price, and leadership has a price. So I'm cool with you.
That was a free electrician. You're just gonna have while you're scrolling. Want to make money off the charge of the consumer? Chuck, you can help. Did you know the real deal?
Gracias, mi amor. Beautiful. Did you brush your teeth? Boy? Yeah, I see it. I did. Yeah. This?
I'm glad you said think. Because people don't know the mind actually does not think. Right? See, thinking is a skill, and they don't tell you you don't have. You go outside, you go to school and say you think, but they never tell you how to think. How your mind process these thoughts. And these straight up bits go on in your head. So when you say think, make sure you understand that 99
Whereas a year ago now have.
So this all
There you.
I'm glad you said think. Because people don't know the mind actually does not think. Right?
You can't use think and understand in the same context or context. Or context. Because thinking is being in the know. So like I said, you contradict yourself.
See, thinking is a skill, and they don't tell you you don't have. You go outside, you go to school and say you think, but they never tell you how to think.
Because they never tell you how to think.
Process these thoughts.
Because you got some kind
These
of
straight
think.
up bits go on in your head. So when you say think, make sure you understand that 99% of the world can't. Now finish your question.
If 90% of the world can't think, then dang. So
Yeah, they can't think because listen, it's like you know they can't think. You don't believe me, but I'm proof it. Everybody Nobody. I'm glad you said think, because people don't know the mind does not think, right?
Man, this
See,
thing.
thinking is a skill, and then they don't tell you you don't have it. You go outside, you go to school, they tell you think, but they never tell you how to think.
You don't have
How
to tell
your
you
mind
how.
process these thoughts.
Hey, common sense
Any
is
chain of
you
events
born with
all in
common
your
sense.
head. So
You
when
born
you
with common
say
sense,
think,
man.
make sure you understand that 99% of the world can't. Now finish your question. Well, if 90% of the world can't think, then dang. So
Does that sound like these people came from someplace else? No. How come it's in the military document, but yet these so-called leaders who have this document always keep telling these children they were brought from someplace else when they know these people are bound to this continent by heritage, and they're looking for some heritage somewhere else. They're out to damn lunch. Now you understand where they have the so-called leaders are actually working as agents for Central and Federal? Now, read that again, the whole paragraph.
Preliminary memo, Department of Defense. This memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in any other countries. The greatest concentration of the minority is in the Deep South, the Eastern Seaboard, the Great Lakes region, and the West Coast.
There you go. Now, that's military document, right? Now, point made. What does that have to do with etymology and the corruption or connotative linguistics that is necessary to keep them from understanding stuff like this? That is as absolutely as direct as it can be. And yet they would look at that and talk about when they brought us here, the fact that that paradigm exists because it can't damn read. Dude, Islam, give the mic. And all they needed was a few generations to fulfill that paradigm.
And
Like Brother Mason said, they burned books. And it took, a couple hundred years they brought us to this darkness. It's no secret about them burning books. So why do we keep on acting like we don't know that they did that and as if it wouldn't have an effect? And then try to use the miseducation to solve the problem of the miseducation and disrespect the etymon, which is the truth. Well, go ahead, excuse me, go ahead, sis.
The deception is so great that it actually creates a veil on the mind
Yes.
that you cannot see the truth at certain times because your mind is just so corrupted with the lies that even the truth can be right in front of you and you still won't recognize it.
Beautiful. Now, this is where this statement comes in. They have eyes and cannot see. They have ears and cannot hear. I come amongst my own, and they receive me not.
Because
But they claim to know the book.
But
go ahead.
because they receive not the love of the truth, I will send strong deception that they will believe a lie.
So they've been following after the Romans, right? Following after the Romans, Roman Inquisition, Spanish Inquisition against the Moors and Yahudi, who are falsely called the Jews, right? Both the same people, hair like lambs, skin like burner's brass, and here they're going, they can't buy or sell without the mark or the number of his name, 14th Amendment, and which is the problem that we have right now. And what is in the same book they say they understand? It says the time has come that every man, woman, and child must confess their own and worship under their own vine and fig tree. Translate that into civil action. It's called nationalization. It's called honoring your mothers and your fathers. And what is it with that in nature of law or the law book when you're looking at common law? It's the capacity to connect, to the ancient traditions and customs, the archaic traditions and customs, and thus trump the Roman law, the civil law, and other forms of law. Outside of that, you have no standing, because you must be in your proper person to have standing, or the courts automatically have jurisdiction. And how does that convert into common language? Being yourself. In propria persona, Latin. Being what? In one's own proper person. So you see how long history goes together? That's why they will not teach it together. However, it's our duty, right? And so we can, like we were talking earlier, you can go in our communities in any direction, to the north, to the south, to the east, and the west, and you can find a spy center. And the poorest communities support them and don't have any civic organizations. And they're called great circles. They're called churches. And they will, charge that's Jesus, when it's really Constantine. And so they not only lie on Jesus, they credit him with something that the very book they claim to know, which says he's a Jew. And then you talk about any Kabbalistic lessons, they look at you cross-eyed. That's the devilness. They start that stuff. So when you really study us, a lot of the things that we look at in another way is really a story about us and our relationship with these Romans. It really is. But people need not look at it from a spooky perspective. They need to look at it for what it actually really is. And this stuff is really not complicated. But again, I want to bring that out in support of the importance of etymology far more than many people give it credit for. It is not an issue just for grammar. For grammar is the issue of preserving culture. So how, at what point in any science, in any discipline, can it not be important? When it covers every walk of life. Because culture is transferred and preserved through language. Does it sound?
The truth makes sense with true change.
Like these people came from someplace else? No. How come it's in the military document, but yet these so-called leaders who have the...
The truth makes sense with true change. Truth, 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 truth. The truth.
document, always keep telling these children they were brought from someplace else when they know these people are...
And then let me get this right. So a man has to come in and take care of all of his problems. And all of his problems means the car note, the car insurance, health insurance, the dental insurance, all the little fees that he has to pay throughout, everything else, right? So he